I had 100 hangovers in 100 days, 48,000 drinks over a 12-year period. Because I wake up in the morning, I'm just very, very anxious and thinking about what I did the night before. I was addicted to Ocean Beach as well as drugs and alcohol. And 4 o'clock, the demons are there. Where's my drugs?
Would it have been the same if no one in there knew who you were?
I was losing the respect of my family.
There must have been moments where you thought, this needs to stop.
I'm very lucky to be alive. You've got to go rehab, mate. We can't have you behaving like this in the venue. That conversation will live with me forever. He put his head on my chest and cried and said, "Don't go anywhere, Dad." And that obviously was a big moment as well. Anxious, sad, a bit of a joke.
What would be like number one, this is what's going to help?
I think.
Welcome back to another episode of How to Break Free from Alcohol and Cocaine. Today, I have a conversation with Wayne Lineker, who has just approached 7 months free from both substances. We had an amazing conversation, talked about his time through Ocean Beach, living in Ibiza, the party lifestyle, and where that ultimately led him to. I can see the difference in him as a human being, how present he is, how much he cares about his family, his own well-being, his routine. And no doubt, if you're watching this, you're going to get inspired by his journey. It was an amazing conversation, and I truly hope you enjoy. It's because I saw a video of you on social media where you were talking about how many drinks you had, you added them up. And I remember thinking, because this is one of the things I see with a lot of guys who want to stop, they've never taken the time to calculate the drinks they had, the money they spent, the hours they wasted. And it was fascinating because I think was it like 40,000 or do you remember what it was?
For a start, I had 100 hangovers in 100 days. By that, I mean, I drank every day. And during those first 100 days, I never got in before why it was dark. It was always daylight. That was 100 days on the trot. That was in 2012, the year we opened. And then, but that continued, not the darkness or the daylight thing, but that session continued for 12 years. And I worked out that I had 14 or 16 drinks a day in the summer, average, and around 8 drinks a day average in the winter, even when I was in the UK, a bottle of wine or blah, 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 whatever. And that calculated to 4,000 drinks a year, which is 48,000 drinks over a 12-year period. Yeah.
Wow.
But I never had a day off. I drank every single day.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to ask if it's consecutive, because most people, well, let's say the average drinker might have one big night and maybe a hair of the dog the next day, but doing 100 days consecutively, I'm also very aware what that feels like to an extent, running a bar. But what was your mental state like throughout those 100 days?
I didn't run the business, so I just enjoyed it. I was in a very fortunate position to have my son who ran the business, along with Tony Truman, my partner, and Maxie, and yeah, they did all the work and I took all the credit. But I did my part, with social media and hosting the venue, but there's no behind the scenes work from me. People thought I was doing everything. They were going, "Oh, I can't believe you run this business," and da-da-da. I'm thinking, well, I don't really, but that's all done by my son, and mainly my son anyway. So yeah, but you just get in a role, and my problem was, I know it sounds strange, I wasn't really addicted to the taste or the alcohol. I was addicted to the fact that it could relieve my hangover and relieve my zero energy. I used to wake up and have to face the day ahead. A lot of drunk people obviously coming to the venue, or getting drunk in the venue, should I say. And I needed my energy. So therefore, the first thing I'd do is, I've said it a couple of times, I've got a little Spanish bar in Ibiza that I go to. No one recognises me, it's great. Because in San Antonio, I literally can't move. Like, everybody knows me, and they're all after my pick, and they're all trying to find me, and it's become bizarre. But I go to this little Spanish bar. I call it my office. Yeah. So whenever my PAs, I've got a PA and a social media manager and various people connected to business in my life, I always say I'm in my office. And they know where my office is. It's the little Spanish bar, yeah. And I go in there and I have because I wake up in the morning, I'm just very, very anxious and thinking about what I did the night before. And not that I did anything bad or damaging, but my behaviour wasn't, I'd be showing videos the next day and I'd be like, oh, I can't watch them. I'm like, oh, did I say that? Did I do that? I'm thinking I was funny at the time. I mean, the young lads think it is funny, but looking at it from my family's perspective and my closest friends, they're like, and my business partners, they're like, Wayne, you can't behave like this, And I just continually would, because I was just in that place and I couldn't get out of it. I didn't want to spend the 2 days in my villa on my own trying to get over the hangover when I got 1,500 people in the venue, all having the time of their lives, and I'm sat at home. And so I just got into that continual cycle. And so I used to go to my office and I used to order a cheese and tomato toasted sandwich every single day with a large double vodka and Red Bull. And the measures in Spain, especially in this little Spanish bar, there's like probably 5 units in there. And then, because I was anxious at home, I got out of bed, had a shower, went to my office, ordered my breakfast. And once I've had my vodka Red Bull, I turned my phone on and have a look, because I wouldn't be in the physical mind state to turn it on prior to that drink. So that gave me back my energy boost, and that continued to that same cycle every single day. And then I'd get that'd go through till the end of Ocean, of which I was also addicted to. I was addicted to Ocean Beach as well as drugs and alcohol. So yeah, that cycle would be breakfast, then lunch at Ocean, few more drinks, couple of glasses of red wine, another vodka Red Bull. And 4 o'clock, the demons are there, chirping at my ear, where's my drugs? So they come, and then I'd take me to go to either Lineker's or Ithaca after, which I'd stay in there all night until about 3 or 4, and then go home and do the same thing the next day, and the same thing the next day, and the same thing the next day.
I think when something I related to, the relief of it, like the idea of being alone in your villa, or you've got a building full of people that would love to see you. Would it have been the same if no one in there knew who you were? Do you think there would be that same relief of being there? Do you reckon it was the attention that was?
Yeah, it very much depends on your state of mind at that time. Like now I'm sober, I sort of avoid the limelight as much as I can. I would never go to a club in the UK. I just get completely hounded and I can't speak because I'm sober, and I'm like, I can't enjoy it. My enjoyment doesn't come from them situations anymore. But I did enjoy it at that time. It was all new to me, especially when Ocean first opened, people, because I was very prominent on social media, and it was a new thing, wow, look at this place, everyone's like, can't wait to go, and they still can't wait to go. But from a adrenaline point of view, from myself, it was like, well, I just loved it. I did like the attention. I'm not going to lie, I can't say I didn't. But that can only last a certain amount of time, and it works when you're drinking. It works when you're drinking. It doesn't work when you're sober. It works while they're sober. But come 5, 6 o'clock, everyone's had a few drinks and they're all, alcohol gives you confidence.
It does.
And then people now are confident enough to approach me, and then I'm getting swarmed by people, and they're all halfway to getting smashed, and and they're all asking the same questions. They're all like asking for a pick, and which is super nice. But you know, when they're sober, when they come in the venue. So this year I'm going to probably go back to Ibiza and plan my day before I go, which is something I'll learn in rehab, which I'll talk about when we talk about rehab. But so yeah, I did like the attention, but now it's like it's too much. And and from a sober perspective, it's not enjoyable like it was.
Mm. Did you find that there was anyone else there who was doing the same as you? Or did anyone voice it to you over those, either the 100 days or the 12 years? Did anyone try and address it with you?
My son, Dwayne, continually, I think I've got 4 children. Dwayne's the eldest. He's also my partner in Ocean. And then I've got Sean, who's a couple of years younger than Dwayne. Both live in Ibiza as well. Then I've got Tia, my daughter, you know, little Miss Perfect, which she actually is. She's the most perfect human being I've ever met in my life. You know, she doesn't drink, and you know, very rarely anyway. And you know, she holds herself beautifully. But she's daddy's girl, and you know, I can't do anything wrong with Tia, so she'd never really interfere. And then I've got Freddie, my DJ son. But yeah, the support of my family has been incredible. And it was getting to a point where, you know, my broken promises, you know, I was saying, I promise I'm going to do this, Dwayne, and he just didn't even listen in the end, you know, which was sad. And certain incidents happened with the family leading up to me going to rehab, which was made my final decision. Because I wasn't losing my family, but I was losing the respect of my family.
Yeah.
We're always very, very close, but you can feel it in your bones and your heart that it's not how it should be. We should be, you know. They might tell you different, but Dwayne certainly won't. But Dwayne will certainly tell you that it was affecting our relationship. Because he's like the dad of the relationship and I'm the son. It's literally like that. And then I've got Sean, he's just super caring, and I call him my gay son. I'm very proud of him. He's got a beautiful boyfriend, Ryan, and yeah, so my family is just perfect for me, and to put that in jeopardy really does hit home, especially now I'm 7 months sober. You know, how
Congratulations.
Thank you. How could I have put my family at jeopardy, you know, or my relationship? Yeah, it's a big one, you know, especially when you're from a close family, people will understand. It's like when you go to rehab, you know, I just feel there's not enough involvement with the family.
Mm.
You know, they should be coming into the therapy sessions and listening with the family and listening with the addict, supporting them if they want to, obviously, but I just feel that's the only thing that's missing. But yeah.
I think that was something I've noticed over the years is a lot of the motivation for anyone wanting to stop drinking or stop doing coke is because of relationships, whether it's partner, spouse, family.
Oh, I've lost a few partners as well because of it.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
And I think obviously we can recognize it whilst we're in that place, but it's only once you're on the other side, it's actually a really painful reflection of, you know, it's so sad that I talking for myself personally, I didn't show up in the way that they deserved or that I wanted to. And yeah, I find that amazing because it sounds like you have such a beautiful family.
Yeah, and another driving force was me. You know, it's like the universe was grabbing hold of me and saying, look, come on, your daughter's getting married on the 10th of August. You need to be present for her. Yeah, so I need to be present for her and be sober for her wedding. I've got to do a speech. I've got to walk her down the aisle. I've got to, you know, socialised with all her friends and Harry's family and his friends, and I didn't want to let her down with my behaviour in any way, because my family know once I've had one drink, they know. Because I'm a confident person, alcohol does not suit me because I get overconfident, and then sometimes a little bit egotistic, or overconfidence breeds that sort of thing, and I'll play up to it and I'll behave bad. But so I didn't want to, when I first went into rehab, it was literally 4 weeks away from Tia's wedding. So that really pushed me then for first 4 weeks, and I couldn't wait to turn up and show the family and Tia that I was sober, and I delivered a really good speech. In fact, my brother said to me after, which was probably the best moment of the day, aside Tia's getting married, obviously. He came and said, "Bro, that was a great speech. I've heard some speeches, but that one was good." And I'm like, yes. I just felt so good, and that was a happy, sober moment. And because obviously Gary and I had our differences in the past, and we've recently made up. So that meant a lot to me. But yeah, he probably wouldn't have said that if I was drunk. And he said, the main thing I like about it, he said, it was so you, And it was just a very proud moment for me. And a pat on my own back, for actually going through with rehab and making it right for my daughter's wedding.
I think that's such a beautiful sense of accountability. You had that goal of, I'm going to get there and do that. And one thing you said, which Gary said to you, which is really fascinating, is it was so you, because I always think once you remove those, you become authentically you. Yeah. And that version of you.
Well, he knows you better than anyone else. But I just thought that was such a great comment, and it just really,
Do you feel
so he basically said, "You're actually a cool guy. You're a funny guy. You're my brother, and and you be you.
So good.
But he was proud of me, and he was proud of the fact that I was me, which again meant a lot to me from seeing it from that angle you just explained there. It's a beautiful thing.
It must have been a powerful reinforcement when what a lot of people think is giving a speech at a wedding without drinking. Might I mess it up? I overthink it. I might be nervous, especially for such an occasion. And to come out of it and have a positive reinforcement of that's amazing. Yeah. It must have been really helpful from 4 weeks onwards.
Yeah. I mean, and I wasn't really very well. My immune system crashed when I went to rehab because of the changes in my body and the substances and everything that it was used to. So I didn't feel great, The first week I went to rehab, I felt fantastic, but then my immune system caused me huge problems, and I was getting infection after infection. But so when I went to the wedding, I wasn't feeling great. The night before was the pre-party, and I was only there probably an hour and a half, 2 hours. I thought, I can't do that, I can't go home. Not because I was just a bit miserable, and I thought, I don't want to be that person. I'll go home, have an early night, and look forward to tomorrow, which is the biggest day of my life and Tia's, So I did that, and then I woke up with a spring in my step. I was happy, had breakfast, and so when I went to rehab, I visualised myself having breakfast with my daughter on the morning of her wedding, sober, not in my bedroom, just no sleep, and I can't look myself, I can't feel myself, and I just went down, like I say, with a spring in my step, and I was, I saw her look at me, it's a nice moment. So yeah,
such a beautiful moment, and I think especially for anyone who watches this and to hear what life was like for the years running up to that, and how powerful that must have been to have this visualization of that is going to happen. I'm going to make that happen, and the fact that you did it, and obviously we've spoken, and your immune system crashed, and you look incredibly healthy today, by the way. And
thank you.
7 months in is just incredible.
Yeah, I noticed a big change in my appearance and everything, my temperament, my confidence, and like I said, I've always been confident, but I'm now proud of what I do instead of, acting on my drunkenness, and yeah, it's not cool.
I find that feeling as well of having pride instead of shame is not just in the moment, but it compounds every time you do something which, like a moment where you would look in the mirror and either be proud or disappointed.
Yeah.
And the more you do that, the more it builds up and changes your character. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, going back to that, I knew when I was in my drinking days, which were long, I could never look in the mirror and the way I look in the mirror now. And I'm proud of myself now. I've done good. And I'll continue to do so because it's a great feeling and it's a different life. But I don't diss alcohol. I think alcohol can be a great thing sometimes for some people if they can control it. If you're one of these people that can go out and have a couple of drinks twice a week, fantastic.
Sounds bizarre.
Wish I could.
I've never done that.
Yeah, that just don't work for me. But yeah, it's I am very, happy with I call it my behaviour really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you should be. It's incredibly inspiring. And I thought this would be a good opportunity to have a shot in celebration for your...
A shot?
A shot. A very different type of shot. A ginger and chili shot.
Oh, that's good.
It's the only shots I do. In fact, when I...
These actually do give you a little boost,
They do. Oh, man, I used to...
I've got a personal security at Ocean. His name's Denver. And he'll go, boss, let's have a shot. I said, you don't drink? He went, no, my shot. And he always gets me a ginger.
I love that.
A freshly made one, yeah.
Well, cheers and congratulations as well.
Cheers, thank you.
Don't know if I could do it all in one.
Oh, see, I'm still a pro at drinking shots. I beat you.
Oh, man, it's been a long time. But you know, when I stopped drinking, I still continued running the bar. And every night I would always get a very expensive tequila, get my entire team around. We'd all do shots together.
Were you like a GM or?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I would get the whole team together, we'd all do shots, and I would be proud of thinking I'm such a good leader and a boss. I'm getting my team super drunk, everyone's having fun. And then kind of had that moment of, I need to change. The next day I go in and I'm like, no one's drinking anymore. Yeah. And everyone was like, what's happened to Will?
You spoiled them now.
Yeah. But then when we did, I relaxed and I'm like, listen, have a few drinks. But I would always have a ginger shot and it would always feel like...
Yeah, in the early days of Lineker's, I used to make sure my bar staff were drunk or merry. So I encourage them drinking. They'll come for an interview. And they'll go, do you drink? And they'll go, no. Oh, I'm sorry, no good for us then. Yeah. That's how it was. And but years and years on, 37 years on now, with Ocean, obviously Ocean's a far more corporate business than Lineker's, but our GM, George McBlain, he'll give shots. He'll have group shots with the team and this, that and the other, but it won't be till after. If we've had a really good day, gather them all around and let's have a shot, and it's a great atmosphere. But the shots come at the end.
Yeah,
but they don't
not at the start.
Yeah.
Well, I think there is a benefit to that when you've got a team together, and it does, that can be a positive. It kind of unites you. But if that happens at the beginning of the night several times, then it gets a bit sloppy. Yeah. Which I saw myself, but. I'd love to know a bit more about what was the run-up to the point of last year where I'm sure over the years, and correct me if I'm wrong, there must have been moments where you thought this needs to stop or I feel trapped or how could this ever change? But obviously last year there was a moment where you actually did it. And I'd love to know what that looked like.
There's so many times I've convinced myself and my family and my close friends that that's it now. I'm done. I don't last 5 minutes. Although I did go sober for 6 months. So I had a taste of sobriety 3 years ago. I went home after the summer and I built myself up in my mind, this is your healthy winter. You're going to be healthy. You're not going to drink. And I didn't drink for 6 months. And I said to myself, I'm going to go to Ibiza and I'm going to continue my journey of sobriety because it suits you. You're better. You're out of bed every morning. You got no brain fog. Your clarity's like you're bouncing around the room instead of crawling around it. I'm like, this is great. And then I went to Ibiza, and I made a huge mistake, which I'll talk about in what I learned at rehab. But I made a huge mistake of walking into Ocean, arriving into Ibiza, going straight to the opening party at Ocean after 6 months of being sober. And I went in at 2:00 just as everyone's like, can't believe they saw me. They were like, all my staff were hugging me and the management and it was just too much. And I lasted 3 minutes and had a vodka Red Bull. And after that vodka Red Bull, I had a drink every day again for a year and 2.5 years until 7 months ago. So that was, that was a big one.
Wow.
So I walked in there acting on my emotions, and your emotion will then lead to a thought, and then your thought will be a drink, and then the drink leads to bad behaviour. So I was in a one-to-one therapy session with Manny, a Spanish guy, spoke perfect English. I mean, I speak Spanish as well, but his English was better than my Spanish. So anyway, we had this session, and that's what I take out of rehab that's taught me now. He went, because that's what he said. He said, you walked in there acting on your emotions. He said, and then that would turn to a thought, and the thought would be drink, and then your behaviour can do whatever it wants. It doesn't matter because your head's not in the game. You don't know what you're going to do. You don't know what time you're going to leave, blah, blah, blah. So what you got to do is twist it around, and before you go to anywhere, you have 15 minutes with yourself, and you talk to yourself, and you think about your behaviour for that day. How are you going to behave? What time are you going to go there? What's the best time for you to go there? What's the best time for you to leave there? This doesn't work if you're drinking. It only works if you're sober. And I was like, whoa. I said, so if I think about my behaviour throughout that day and stick to that plan and not go in with my emotion, which would lead to a thought, bingo. That's, in a nutshell, for me, that was a life-changing moment for me because it just worked for me. I'm like, wow, that's really hit me, that has.
I love that.
And I take that with me every single place I go, and I do. I always think, what's the best time to go? It would say, why don't you just leave at a certain time, do it every day. That's your routine.
Mm.
Because routine's a huge thing. You don't have any routine when you're alcoholic, like not one at all. And now my routines, I go to bed same time every single night.
Love it.
I wake up at the same time every single day. My routine in Ibiza was I'd go out for a night. I might go out for 2 nights without sleeping. Then I'd sleep for 16 hours. Then I'd go home, sleep for 10 hours. Then I'd go out the next day for 2 days. My sleep cycle was just ridiculous. It was really, because even if I was going home to bed, I can't sleep. I've got cocaine in my system and I'm just awake. You can't. Then you're absolutely shattered in the morning, and it's just the routine of life is so different in a very, very negative way when you're an alcoholic, and such a beautiful, positive way when you're sober, which is beautiful. You notice everything, you see everything. You know what I mean? It's like, I can even see what colour your eyes are. They're beautiful, by the way.
Probably look a bit different under the yellow.
Blue, yeah. You just don't, people say birds in the trees. You do see them. I'm not, I used to go to Ocean, like 1,500, 2,000 people in there. I don't notice anything. I don't look at what the staff are doing. I don't listen to what the DJ's playing. It's just music. You know, I don't see a group of friends that I knew years ago and go over and see them because, you know, it's just... And now, if I'm sober, you know, I listen to the music. You know, I might say, "Oh, I'm not sure about this. You need to change this." Or I look at the staff, see who's working, see who's trying to, you know, engage with the clients, and you just don't see that when you're drunk.
No, I used to,
and it's such a shame because until you're X amount of months sober, you don't really realise. It's just life. But you're not taking anything in. You're not learning anything. You're not giving any contributions to anyone. You know, maybe people, I'm selfies and have a laugh with me, yeah, but, you know, that's not real life. That's a fantasy, you know, but you know, it's a living fantasy for me, but it's a lot for me to take. So I just drink. But now I can still engage with the clients just earlier. You know, I'm going to plan my exit. I'll plan my day before, and I will leave probably around 6 p.m. if and when I go back. So yeah, routine is everything.
So good. And yeah, there's so many points in that. And I think the presence, I can see it in you. You're a very present person. And
yeah,
I think with that, one thing that'd be interesting is to see, do you find, because your brain now has the capacity to take in a lot of what's happening, do you find yourself getting maybe overstimulated more than before? So obviously, one thing I noticed in myself, for instance, was, you know, working in that nightlife where music would be loud, so many people, so many interactions, but it felt like it didn't really faze me that much.
Yeah.
Whereas now I can be, like this morning, I had breakfast in this restaurant in Soho, and it's so loud and so busy. I felt myself almost being a bit like, oh, this is quite intense, but it's because I now have the capacity to really take it all in. And sometimes it can be a bit too much. Do you ever feel that?
I feel it in a slightly different way. I don't know, when I go to a restaurant now, if I'm on a date or go with my friends, or I'm much more involved in all the conversations, and I'm much more aware of what's going on around me. You know, I was in my own little bubble in those days, and I wasn't really taking notes of anything. So yeah, you do sit realising when you're put into situations that you were put into before, you act and behave and understand things so much clearer. You know, I went to, friends got a boat club events. He had a big party in London. I didn't want to go, but I thought, I'm going to go just to see how I feel. You know, I was probably 4 months sober at the time. And it was torture. It was a really closed environment, and everyone was, you know, in a bit, you know, worse for wear. And I lasted about an hour and a half, and I thought, I can't do this. But them situations are worse for me if I'm not drinking, but all the rest of the situations in the world are better for me when I'm not drinking, you know.
It's an interesting perspective because when I stopped, I had this idea of, I don't want my life to change. I want to go out just the same amount. I want to be in these environments the same amount. And it dawned on me after a few months, if there's an environment that I love when I'm drinking, why would I love it without the alcohol? And I still went out, I still went to clubs and bars, but over time, I felt like I was trying to prove to myself that I could do it rather than, is this genuinely where I want to be?
Yeah, I did that. I went back to Ibiza for the last 2 weeks of the season. But I thought, Ocean's an open space. You know, I've got room to move. I know everyone there, and I'll be fine. I'll be happy, and you know. And it was too early. I went back, and I was miserable. You know, I felt myself miserable. Obviously, I didn't drink, and I didn't relapse at all. But I felt like it. I thought, I can't enjoy this and not have a drink. And it felt pretty sad for me, that. And And that was a really tough time for me because I understood that that's it now. You know, you can't be that person anymore. You can't have the great times you used to have. This is how I felt then. And so I lasted 2 days and I went home. I was going to stay for the closing parties. I didn't bother. I just went home. Said to my family, I think it's too early for me. Then I went home and I was fine because I couldn't wait to get home. I was happy. But now, I truly believe with my knowledge now that I have that I can go and have a nice time. It won't be the crazy time that I had before, but I won't be miserable. So I found myself so miserable. I was walking through the crowd and I thought, I can't do this. I just can't do it. And then I used to go back into the restaurant and just sit in the corner for 2 hours. But I believe that can be different now. But like I say, I'll exit the venue earlier than before. I've got more spring in my step now. I've got more bounce. I've got, I feel better. I look better. More, I'm sensibly confident. And I'm laughing and I'm joking and, I'm doing all the things that I used to do drunk, but in a respectable way. And a respectable way for myself as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to going back and actually not being miserable.
I love that. And the way you described it was so accurate, which is it's now not going to be miserable, but it's never going to be
it's never
the same as what it was. But
I don't want it to be.
You don't
like
want it to be, right?
No.
But
I've had my time. I've got no regrets whatsoever. Obviously I regret certain things I did, but on the grand scale of things, I'm still here. I'm very lucky to be alive. I've just had this big illness as well, and I'm just I've started to feel really good, and yeah, I'm very happy at the minute, and but I'm very wary of how dangerous Ibiza is.
Of course.
And if anyone knows that, it's me. So I've been put in every scenario in Ibiza you can. So yeah, I'm very wary. Whereas last time I went back, I didn't have the knowledge of going into a venue sober, doing this sober, doing that sober. When I do now, and I do have what I learned in rehab, these are big tools that I can take with me. So yeah, I'm pretty confident we can still have a good time, but not a nutty time. Yeah,
I think that's it's amazing, and I can tell the identity shift of embracing a new version of yourself. And it could be argued that if anything had been different in your past, maybe it wouldn't have led you to where you are now, which is obviously an incredibly good place.
Yeah, it took a while.
It's always worth it though, right?
I've always been in a good place. I've also always been in a sad place at the same time. Whereas now it's just sunshine and smiles, You get your euphoric moments when you're drunk and you're happy, and even though you can't remember them. But then you get your deep and dark sadness of the next day, and how am I going to get through this day? And you turn to alcohol, and it's from the outside looking in my life. People say to me, "You've got the best life in the world. You really, really do." I don't really work. I just turn up at Ocean and get drunk and party with people every day, and it looks like that on camera. It's great. But you don't see me going home. You don't see me sad at home. You don't see me waking up anxious in the morning and day after day after day trying, telling lies, not turning up for business meetings or Zoom calls or, I used to, if I had a Zoom call or something and I hadn't had a drink, I used to go and have vodka Red Bull first. If I can't do this Zoom call, I'm too tired, I need a drink. It's sad. It's sad, but it's true, I've done so many crazy things because I didn't feel I was in the moment that I should be. So I used to have a drink, and that helped at the time, but it also led to disaster time after time after time. A drink over a Zoom call just because I wanted to have a bit of energy, a bounce. would turn into, I'll go and have some food now, a couple of glasses of wine. Might see what the lads are doing, might go out, drink, and then comes whatever comes, and terrible.
It's fascinating talking to you because I can see now that your level of self-awareness around what you were doing, what was going on in your head is fascinating. And one thing I'd love to tap into and learn more about is you've made a few references to the knowledge and the strategies and prioritizing and being proactive in how you approach situations that could be triggering. And it sounds like, was this all learned through rehab?
Yeah.
And you use all of that on a daily basis?
I never had the time to learn this stuff before because I was always hungover and always reaching for a drink because I was hungover. I never had that knowledge before, and, I didn't even have time to get that knowledge. And all the things I learned in rehab, and now my self-awareness and my knowledge of everything now regarding alcohol. I used to think I knew everything about alcohol. I didn't know nothing about alcohol then. I just drank it. And I knew it just, I knew even on my first drink where I'm going to end up. I still drank. I still went through that process. And every single day I said, now I'll be fine. So I'm just going to have a couple of drinks, and every day. And it never happened. Whereas now, obviously, I won't drink, but I've realised now that I literally can't have a couple of drinks. And I always knew, but I was lying to myself, really. Now I'll be fine. And but now, like I say, so many things I learned in rehab, and what a beautiful thing it is to do. When I was told by my partners, Tony and Maxie and my son and Tony, you've got to go rehab, Wayne. We can't have you behaving like this in the venue. When I was in Champneys, a viral video came out of me going in my face off behind the DJ box, and it went very viral. And I knew I was on my way to rehab, and then my partner Tony called me and said, "Wayne, have you seen the video?" I'm like, "No, I've not." And he sent it me. He went, "Just to let you know, this is doing the rounds. It's everywhere." And I'm like, distraught. I'm literally distraught. I'm like, oh my God, look at the state of me. I look terrible. And that moment, I was like, get me to rehab now. I want to go now. I was really, all of a sudden, excited to go, excited what was ahead for me. And there's just certain things with my family that led up to my decision to go to rehab. One was, just before these, it was this year in May and then June, and my behaviour was just so bad. And my son, I used to pick my girls up from school, and not my girls, my granddaughters, I call them my girls. We're very, very close. Mila's 9 and Aria's 6, and I used to pick them up from school. And once or twice a week, probably. And then I put on the family group, I'm okay to pick the girls up today, and blah, blah, blah. And then Dwayne called me, said, can I speak to you in the office? And yeah, okay. So I went to the office, and he just said, Dad, we don't want you to pick the girls up anymore. We can't. I'm like, what? He said, obviously you've been drinking a lot, and I got it. It was so upsetting, and it's such a wake-up call. That conversation will live with me forever. And but I sat back, I thought about it, and then realised that I have always got alcohol in my system. Even if I don't drink before I pick the girls up, it's still in my system from the night before, the morning before. Or drugs are in my system, and I'm not alert. I'm not responsible enough to pick my grandchildren up. So I realised that that what he said was absolutely 100% correct. You know, I shouldn't have been, and it must have been very tough for him to tell his dad that. And that was a big point. And one was when Freddie left. He was staying with me at my villa, my son. And he's a DJ, he's going to Zante to play. So he had an early flight from Ibiza. And it was about 4 a.m, he came in my room. I was awake and I wasn't very well at the time. I just didn't feel well. And he just came in and gave me a hug. He put his head on my chest and cried. He said, yeah, don't go anywhere, Dad. You know, it's like, he said, I love you lots. And yeah. And that obviously was a big moment as well. It all came at the same time, just before the video came out, so just pre me going home, and just so many things happened together, and Tia's wedding, and you know, all these things just came to at the same time. That sort of thing is like, you know, I've got to do this. You know, I want to live to see my granddaughters get married, and I want to feel healthy, and you know, and the only way for me to do that was to go to rehab, which was the best decision of my life. Yeah,
I really feel that, and that's
yeah,
so proud of you. That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because, yeah, people say, "Oh, such a proud moment." It is, but you know, I put myself in that position. You know, I can never forget that. You know, I don't want to try and come across a hero here, because I'm not, but all I've done is realise that what I'm going to lose, you know, my family, my business, this, that, you know, you can't, my life, you know, times I've been close to death, it's frightening. So yeah, but rehab was life-changing for me, because I'm not one of them people that can stop once they start, you know, which is the people that I want to try and help if I can. You know, if you're one of that percentage of people, which is quite high, it's probably about 10 or 15% of people are like me. They've got strong addictive personalities, and they can't stop. They need to give up. They need to do what I did and go to rehab. And, you know, there's all sorts of programs you can do. You don't have to be wealthy to go to rehab anymore. And it's such a beautiful environment, you know. It's like people like saying to me when I was talking about I'm going to rehab, they're like, "Oh, don't let them change your personality. Don't let them give you this medication, that, man." You know, I was in there a few days. I thought, it's not like that. It is very medical in there. You know, they're very medically conscious of how you are, because obviously you have your blood pressure taken every few hours, and all stuff like that, you know, and blood tests, and they do offer you medications to stop your cravings and stuff like that, to help you. They're not strong medications, but they help you. But I didn't have cravings or shakes. Some people do, some people don't, but I didn't, so I didn't need any of that medication. But I spent a lot of time with the doctors in rehab because my immune system crashed, and I got 7 infections, including shingles, and you know, they even sent me to the hospital to have a thing down my throat because I got this problem in the mornings, and they found a fungal infection on my esophagus. So that, I had a chest infection, I had a stomach infection, I had shingles, I had a foot infection, I had this esophagus infection, I had and another infection, on my foot infection, urine infection I had, all at the same time. This is 2 weeks to go to Tia's wedding. So now I'm worrying, how am I going to get better? Which is why I said I didn't feel great at Tia's wedding, but they got me into a place where I was well enough to leave. So I left rehab after 4 weeks because I needed to go to Tia's wedding. And I thought, I'll be fine, I'm good now. And then I decided that I want to do my time, because you 6 weeks. So I went back for my final 2 weeks which was also a good decision. Because I went back having achieved going to Tia's wedding and remaining sober for 3 days while they have having the parties and obviously, the wedding atmosphere environment, which is when my therapist helped me so much. And that's how I practice my behaviour. Instead of acting on my emotions, I thought about my behaviour first, and that was my practice run. So I went back to rehab and I was like, yeah, I did it. I couldn't wait to see everyone and tell them. So that was nice. And then I did my last few weeks, and I went back to live at home where I live now in Loughton. And then obviously a few weeks later, I decided to go to Ibiza, which we spoke about. But so yeah, rehab for me was needed.
Yeah.
And I gave it my all. I did everything. I went to all the sessions. I went to all the group therapy. I did all my one-to-one therapy sessions, which were quite challenging. It's a full day.
Yeah.
You've probably got 3 1-to-1 hour sessions with 3 different therapists every day. And then you've got a group therapy about, might be cocaine in the morning or one in the afternoon about eating disorders. But we'd all attend, all the people that were in the Priory would attend. And it was good, it was interesting. And then people spoke, sometimes there's a thing called the chair at meetings where you hold the chair and you talk about your life and what's happened to it and how you got to where you are and what your addictions. And it's very interesting because you take little bits from what people say and then you can relate to it and you sit up and speak yourself. Say, oh, I did that. I used to, like people like, that's got addictions, alcohol addictions. The classic is the orange squash in the fridge, they fill it up with a vodka and then they have a drink and the wife don't know, but they're drinking, all stuff like that. I've did similar situations with wine, put Diet Coke in my wine and everyone thinks it's Diet Coke, but, in certain situations, obviously not when I'm, in situations I shouldn't really be drinking, but I find a way.
I feel like people like us have an incredible skill to be able to hide what's really going on.
It's an art.
It is an art.
Yeah. It's an art, but it's so interesting listening. And I also used to go to the outside meetings as well. So in a community hall, for example, we'd have 5 or 6 of us go from our clinic and there'd be people coming from the streets and, which I felt awkward. Obviously, I'm quite a well-known person and for me that was a big step because they're like, oh, Wayne Lineker's in here. Yeah. Which it sounds strange, but was I ready to go sort of in the public and talk and listen and be seen by these people, which are lovely people. They're all so lovely, but that whole rehab life is lovely. It's not in any way, not the tiniest bit aggressive at all. It's just lovely. Everyone's nice. The staff are nice. The nurses are nice. Even the kitchen staff, everyone's friends with each other. Everyone's chatting to each other. You go for walks with other addicts, just because go and have a chat with them, walking around the grounds, and it's not what people perceive. It's a great place, man.
I'm surprised anyone would want to leave that.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're always ready to go home, but you want to go home with some accomplishment,
Yeah, well,
and some confidence,
Yeah.
Because you could leave there too. It's another reason I went back, even though I'd achieved being sober at my daughter's wedding. I went back because I thought I need them extra 2 weeks just to cement it in, And then I was ready, and I knew I was ready. I knew I wasn't going to drink. And yeah, whereas if I'd just gone for a couple of weeks, I think, I'm not saying it might be enough for some people, but for me, wouldn't have been enough, I don't think.
Well, you've proved yourself right, because here you are 7 months down the line. You know? And something you mentioned, which is we run a rehabilitation program, and one of the most powerful tools that we've seen is that sense of community. Yeah. And not just people who have struggled, but people that you can definitely relate to. Like you say, you're in a meeting, you hear someone, your ears prick up and you think, that was me. I've done that. And when you surround yourself with those people, you suddenly feel like it's not you against the world or the problem. It's like you have an army.
Yeah, you're not the only one here that's got a problem,
Yeah, there's a power to that.
But there's so much power to it. If I'd have gone to rehab and it was just me and some therapists, and there's structure there, but there's no reality really. There's just it becomes a reality when you listen to everybody's journey, and what they do, and even down to eating disorders. There was a girl. She was so lovely. She was a big girl. She had a sugar addiction, and that addiction is the same as an alcoholic addiction or a drug addiction. It's the same principle. Addiction is the same thing. She couldn't stop eating cake. And I found it fascinating, but it just shows that, whatever addiction you've got, it's the same thing. She was going into bins for cake that she threw away the day before, because she knew if it was in the house, she'd finish it.
I used to do that with Coke.
Exactly. I've been in many a bin that I threw cake. And I was just fascinated by that. And then she went, I'll tell you a funny story. She went, at the time of my addiction, I looked after somebody's house for them while they went away for the weekend. And when they were coming back, they went away for pre-wedding celebration or pre-engagement celebration, I think it was. So they'd had all these cakes ordered to the house because they were having a party when they're on their return, they were having a party that day. So she had all the cakes were delivered the day before. She had to sign for them, and she went. I ate all the cakes. She ate all the guests' cake, her cake, everyone's, because she couldn't stop. It's the same thing, If I got 2 bags of Coke, I'm doing 2 bags of Coke. Yeah, you know what I mean. I don't leave it.
John, it's fascinating, because I remember a few years ago speaking to a guy. We were at a wedding and I told him what we do, and he kind of pulled me aside and he said, I've got a similar issue, but it's with Pepsi. And I said, what do you mean? He said, I'll buy the cans, I'll delete my bank statements, my wife doesn't see, I'll crush the cans, put them in a backpack, take it to a specific bin, I'll spread them through different bins, just with Pepsi. And it was the same behavior. And this was what I found fascinating psychologically, like the same level of shame or guilt or heaviness or embarrassment about the behavior. And
it's just addiction. If you got an addiction, you got, it's the same. It's the same reason we finish the bag. It's the same reason we finish the bottle. It's the same reason you finish the cake.
Once that train leaves,
when you know you shouldn't. When you know it's not the right decision, it doesn't matter when you're addicted.
For me, that was always the internal conflict of being able to watch my behavior, not want it, and just not understand, why can't I stop this? Yeah. There's like 2 sides of me at play here. One thing I wanted to share, one of our members in our program said this the other day, and it really struck a chord with me, and I wanted to see how you felt about it. But he said, this journey is about finding the things in life that make us so connected and so fulfilled that alcohol and substances simply lose their purpose.
Well, they do lose their purpose because, I mean, at the time, you don't really care. You don't care about yourself. You don't care about certain situations. You're just in that moment, and it just becomes pointless, but you still do it, but you just don't realise it. You just think you don't even think this is my life. You just carry on with it. You carry on with your life. You carry on with your drinking because you don't really think there's anything that you're doing wrong. But you are doing wrong. You're doing wrong to yourself, especially the amount that I was consuming. And yeah, you do. You just get lost in the moment. But my moment lasted a long time.
I'm sure there's a lot of memories.
But again, as I said before, you don't really understand these things until you're properly into your journey, and like I am now. You look back and you think, I was so irresponsible, really. I was so selfish, I was selfish, even though I didn't realise it at the time. You become selfish. All you care about is yourself. You don't care about anyone else. You don't really care about your healthy self. You don't think about other people like you do when you're sober. And the thing I've noticed, especially with my family, is, they speak to me differently now. Even my texts from my son Dwayne, they're longer instead of short. That's how I describe it. But they're nicer. He would always reply to me previously, and with a short text, and he wouldn't really text me unless it was business. But now he texts me if I'm okay, how am I doing, and these things are so magical. They really are. And and that's all my family. They're just very proud of me, and that. Not that I ever struggle now, but if there's one thing that if I ever did struggle, I would stop myself and think about how my relationship is with my family now, and you can't buy that. You can't,
There's no shortcut.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. And I think as well, you could have easily beaten this and got out of it and kept it to yourself. But the fact that you're here, the fact that, you're sharing your story, no doubt is inspiring so many people. And the reason why I'm even doing this is because I shared mine, and suddenly I uncovered just how many people struggle with all of this, especially here in the UK. It's so common, right?
Yeah. I mean, obviously being in the limelight, and you do have an opportunity to help people get your story across, even though I say my story's not unique, but it is pretty unique,
Not many people do 100 days on the film.
Yeah, if Wayne Lineker can give up alcohol and drugs, then so can you, So don't give us that excuse.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice to help, I've so many messages of gratitude from the public to say well done for speaking out. That's nice. It's soul feeding. You're putting something back, and you're giving back, and it's a lovely feeling. I've always done it on a charity basis, and I always look after people disabled or less fortunate, but I've never really gave anything that I've achieved back, as in something like this, so it's nice. And it's a lovely feeling to be able to help, even if it's one person, I know that's a bit cliche, but because of the public reaction from me going sober, it's been so positive, really, incredible, because obviously I've had my moments where the public were a bit not sure about me, and I was getting some bad not press, but bad feelings and bad messages, and awful messages sometimes. And I've just noticed over the years, especially since I've been sober, how much the people's perception of me has changed, and how nice they are and how supportive they are. It's a really nice thing.
It sounds like there are no negatives to removing alcohol and drugs.
Not for me, no. No, none at all. It really is a beautiful life, and it's that whole thing. Why didn't I do it before? But like I said, I've got no regrets. I've had an amazing life. I'm just very fortunate to be here now, to be able to experience a sober life, because I've diced with death too many times, you know. I really have. How I'm alive, it's a miracle, but I'm going to embrace every moment now, and I'm genuinely happier than mentally, physically, you know, happier than I've ever been, you know, which is mad. Because when I was drinking, I had so many aches and pains, like I can't even describe. You know, I used to get out of bed and in my villa and go downstairs for a drink in the middle of the night, like I was 100 years old. That's inflammation in your whole body that's caused from continual drinking of alcohol. I don't have any aches or any pains now. My feet are perfect, and that's alcohol. How much it does in the amounts that I drink. Obviously, if you have a couple of drinks every now and again, it's fine. But if you're hammering it like me for so many years, and I wonder why I'm limping around like a 100-year-old. You know, I used to get out of the car and I was like, I must have looked like I was, you know, on death's door. But you know, it's in the afternoon, and I'm like, now I just bounce out the car. I'm just normal. Well, not bounce because of my pneumonia, but it's better now. But you know, that was another journey. But yeah, I'm also over that now and fully recovered, and so yeah, life's good. But I was certainly tested.
You were, and it was, you know, it's what I thought in my head is, you know, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I feel like you're the epitome of that. I feel like, you know, you are.
I should get a t-shirt as well.
You should get a t-shirt. But it is really inspiring because it just shows how strong you are and how resilient you are. And the beautiful thing is, it feels like you've almost given yourself this second chance of life where you seem more grateful for everything.
Yeah. Just so many things that are different for me now. Like even just going to the shops, you know, buying the shop. I used to go shops to buy my lunch or like a ready-made meal or something, and then I'd go again the next day. Now I'll go and do a big shop. Before I never had time because I needed to go for a drink. I'll get my lunch and, you know, I need to go out because alcohol was continually on my mind. 24 hours a day, well, apart from when I slept, if I slept. It was always on my mind, you know, and the first thing I did in rehab, I noticed after, I don't know, probably 3 weeks, I said to them, because I had a little cottage in the rehab, it was beautiful, and I had my own cook, I had my own chef actually, sorry. His name was Max, and he used to come in and cook for me and stuff like that. And because you've got the house where everybody lives, then there's a cottage in the grounds, and I lived in there for the first few weeks because I just thought it was the best move for me. And the first time I noticed that alcohol was leaving my mind, because I don't think about alcohol now. I never think about it. Like, never. Like, it's mad. Like, unless I'm in a certain environment, obviously, but you know, through everyday life, I don't think about alcohol, but it was continually on my mind for years and years and years. And after 3 weeks of rehab, I said to the chef, can we go to shops and buy some ingredients and stuff? And you have to arrange it. Obviously, you can't just walk out and go to the shops. And they said, yeah, no problem, and go with Max, my chef, and we went to M&S. And I went in there, bought all the ingredients, bought some meals and this, that, and the other, and got back in the car. As I was leaving the checkout, I saw the wine section. I went, oh. I'm like, why didn't you just go and look or think about wine? Because that's what you do. The first place I go to in a supermarket is the wine section. And then I'll do my shopping. But I did my shopping, didn't even think about it. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I'm like, how has that just happened? And that was the first moment I thought, you're actually forgetting about alcohol. So that's the thing for me, because I used to think, how am I ever going to be happy? Because all I do is think about alcohol or alcohol situations, you know. I'm not going to go to that restaurant because it's nowhere near.
Yeah.
Or it's a health restaurant. Oh, they don't sell wine there. I'm not going there. You know what I mean? Or I might go to a certain restaurant because I like the wine in that one.
Yeah.
Everything's alcohol related. You know, I used to go and get my hair cut, and the pub opposite, I got my hair cut there because there's a pub opposite that I could get a vodka Red Bull in.
Yeah.
And just give me a little boost. But yeah, now I just don't think about it.
For me, that was exactly the goal when so many people used to say, I just want to not drink. But I realized for me, it wasn't just about stopping the behavior. It was about stopping it being up here, because if I'm not drinking, but I'm still thinking about it all day, that's exhausting. That's not enjoyable. Exhausting.
But that's not a skill. That just happens. Over time, it just happens. You can't force yourself to stop thinking about it. Well, I certainly can't.
You'll probably think about it more, right?
It's just something that creeps into your everyday life. You don't drink anymore, so you don't think about it anymore, you know. And for me, that's like remarkable.
Yeah.
Like,
because I can imagine at the beginning you didn't think that was possible, right?
No way. That's what I was more scared of than anything. The fact that how am I going to enjoy my life without alcohol? It's been in my life forever. You know, 37 years I've worked. I've had businesses in the industry, and every one of them is alcohol related, and I've just been drinking for 37 years while I've been in this industry, and this is the first year that I'm not. Mad. So I was very concerned that I'm not sure I'm going to enjoy my life without alcohol. But for me personally, I enjoy it more.
I know that feeling. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And, 7 months is unfathomable for some people, like the old version of me that struggled to get to a week without drinking.
Well, I never got to a day.
I guess what I'd love to know is what does the future of this look like? Are you still going to celebrate like your year and 2 years, and is that going to be part of the journey, or is it I want to forget about everything and I'll just carry on?
I've always said from day one that I'm going to do a year, and then I'm going to see how I feel. But the more I get to that, close to that year, the less I'm bothered about it. You know, the more you think about, oh, do you really want to go back to that life? You know, but I've promised my children many times that I've broken my promises so many times. So I've not given myself a life goal and say, look, I'm never drinking again, because I don't want to break any more promises. I've told them I'm going to stop for a year, and then I know I'm not going to break my promise, you know, and then I'll assess it. But I've got no intentions at this minute of going back to drinking.
I love that. And I agree, you know, when people say I'm stopping forever, it feels like suddenly there's pressure or what I found really interesting is what if we just say, do you know what? The day that alcohol brings me more positives than negatives, I'll consider it.
That's a good one, yeah.
And that day has not come yet.
No.
I'm not sure it ever will.
Yeah, I mean, I watch Russell Brand quite a bit, and he says just take every day as it comes. But I like that, but I wanted to do a year, and I'm determined to, and I will do a year. So maybe I'll do a year, take every year as it comes, as in I'll wake up on my on the anniversary of my 1 year and go, I'm not going to drink for the next year. You know what I mean?
That's it. And I think, one thing I've noticed over the years is if you can do a year, you've done every calendar date, you've done Christmas, you've done wedding season, you've done New Year's, you can just rinse and repeat that.
Yeah.
And if you think, well, I know I can do a year, let me just do another one. And, you're now, from what I can see, in a state where you're thinking so clearly and logically, and less, your emotional regulation is no doubt far better.
Yeah.
So you can actually look at it and say, well, I can't make this decision where it's got more pros than cons. I'll do another year.
Well, if you're going to think about it like that, then I'll definitely do another year. Yeah. Yeah, it's got too many negatives. Too many. Just the positives, the scales are just like that,
Yeah.
Positives outweigh so much. There isn't any positive about getting smashed every night. There isn't. In that moment, you think it is. You're living that life, but you step out of that life and become sober, and that there ain't no positives. I felt ill every day, so I had to drink, like anxious, sad. No, I felt like I was just a bit of a joke. My life had become that, and even though it was, I've sometimes felt euphoric. But you don't remember feeling euphoric the next day. You know what I mean? You might have that moment in the daytime and you think, this is amazing. But I have a milder version of that all the way now. Like my energy levels before were, up here, down, up, down, every day, up, down, And the energy I was getting was only fake energy. It was from alcohol, Red Bull, cocaine. It wasn't real energy. Now my energy levels are like that all day. Beautiful.
Probably a little bit higher than that. It's like your baseline's gone up, right?
Yeah. I've got a bad shoulder, otherwise I'd put it up there. But yeah, they're just beautiful.
It's
Your
something.
energy levels and your normality and just everything. You're just focused. Your no brain fog. Sharp as a razor. That's how I feel. I feel like I'm sharp. Doing things like this. I've done podcasts and had a few drinks first. I look back at them podcasts. I hate them. You're not cool. You think you're funny at the time. You can tell you've had a few drinks. They're not. You don't hold yourself very well. But you're thinking you do at the time. I look back at them and I go, I don't want to be that person again. I talk different. I act different. I'm always happy and jokey, but not in a cool way, if you get me. Whereas now, I think I'm pretty cool.
I would agree. I think it's, like I've said so many times, it's so inspiring, and I just wish that everyone gets to experience a fraction of what I can tell you're experiencing, because it's such a beautiful way to exist here, and we only get to do it once. Yeah, for sure. Well, long may it continue. I love that. Yeah. Well, one thing I'd love to finish this on is, there's going to be a lot of guys and girls who are watching this and listening to this and caught in that old life that we both know very well. And I think if there's anything or any piece of advice you could give anyone, whether it's a slice of hope or any strategic tool, what would be like number one for you is this is what's going to help? I mean, depends on your state of mind. And I think I really do believe in behaviour and thinking about your behaviour and how you look and perceive yourself. And if you're not happy with your behaviour and the way you're feeling and continual hangovers and this and that, and you've tried and you've tried and you've tried on your own, honestly, go to rehab, even if you don't think you need it. Just go and experience
have the therapy sessions. I could say, you should have some therapy sessions in the UK, while you're going about your business. You should also do that, because they do help so much. But if you're past that stage, and honestly, rehab is just, it's just fantastic. Every single millimetre about rehab is great, and there's nothing shameful about it. Be proud you're going to rehab. Be proud you're going to actually look at yourself, how other people look at you, and go, I don't want to be that person. Why don't I go to rehab? Why don't I just see what it's like? Go for a month. What's a month out of your life? And then after a month, I'll guarantee you'll be feeling so great you won't want to go back to drinking if it's been causing you, affecting your life in a negative way. You'll have so much more of a positive outlook on life, and you'll feel better. Your mind will be clear, and so yeah, a rehab all the way for me.
It's been almost 8 years since I drank, and I feel like I want to go to rehab right now.
It's a great place. Yeah, I miss it. It's a great environment, and of course everybody there is in the same position as you.
Mm.
They're there for a reason, whatever that reason is, whether it's a heavy addiction, a light addiction, or whether they're there because they want to better themselves for their family. They're nearly all family related. Like, the families are always brought up in conversations, and because you're not taking your alcoholic journey. You're not taking yourself. You're not taking it on your own. You're taking it with your family.
Mm.
All my alcohol, all my years of drinking, I took my family with me. And that's not fair on them. They saw me behaving badly. They saw me doing whatever I do, and all these crazy things, but they're suffering. They're suffering too. They're not feeling that pain of the hangover, but they're feeling the pain of love. Of proudness of your father. They want to be proud of me, and so you don't take the journey on your own. Your family suffer too.
They also thrive with you when you're out of it.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah.
It's so beautiful to see.
Yeah, going rehab was a big turning moment for my family. Oh, Dad actually wants to do something about it this time. Let's see. But yeah, 7 months down, and life's very different with my family. It's always been beautiful, but now it's just perfect. Mm.
What a beautiful way to end such an incredible conversation, and I'm sure your family are so proud of you.
Yeah,
I'm sure you're proud of yourself, as you absolutely should be. And I have no doubt you doing things like this and being open about your journey is going to help others and other people's families get to experience the same thing. And thank you so much for that.
Thank you. I've enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you so much for watching this podcast. I truly hope you got some value from this conversation. And if you are watching this and you're struggling, just know that you are not alone in this. And there are so many places out there that you can go to help you. If you want to learn more about what we do at the Teetotal Trail, I'm going to leave a link in the description for you to watch a few videos, maybe even book a call. There is no pressure. It is 100% confidential. And it's just a chance to chat to someone who has been through this and someone who has gotten out of it. Trust me, you are one decision away from your life changing completely. And the only regret that I ever hear is I wish I had done it sooner.